What's up, everybody? Welcome back to another highly combustible reaction. We're gonna be jumping into the next one on our Sabaton journey. It's the Christmas Truce, which we've seen, but it's the animated story video coming at us from Zealous. Much love. I do appreciate the support. We most certainly check it out. It's a fantastic song about a glorious moment in history. Like, let's just jump in. Let's check out the animated story, see what they did together with it. If you guys enjoy it, go show Sabaton some love on their channel. We're already hitting the like button because we love this song. Let's go.
December the 24th, 1914, on the Western Front. The industrial might of the new 20th century has been focused into a war that has been going on for 5 months. Everyone thought it would be over by Christmas, but sadly such hopes have now died alongside the young men in the clinging mud and cold of the trenches. On the run-up to Christmas, Pope Benedict XV begged the warring governments to call a truce and asked that the guns may fall silent, at least upon the night the angels sang, but it was no use. In the trenches, sometimes just 30 meters apart, the men of both sides often shout insults to each other above the sounds of battle. On Christmas Eve, a cry comes over from the German side in broken English. Tomorrow, you no shoot. We no shoot. The British and French are incredulous. Then along the trenches, there's a movement. But instead of seeing the sight of men going over the top, this time, pushed up above the top of the trenches, Christmas trees start to appear along the German lines, lit up by flickering candles. Is it a ruse? Could it be real? Could the regular soldiers on the front lines make a peace at Christmas when the church could not? On the wind drifting across no man's land, there's a sound of hope and cheer as Christmas carols are sung.
Honestly, I'm gonna stop it right there just for a brief second. When you're actually fighting, when you're actually over there and doing that stuff, you often lose yourself to the moment. That's where the insults start flying. That's where the hardcore animalistic side of you comes out. That survival. I'm going home to see my family one way or another. Everybody believes the same thing. Everybody's hoping for the same thing. Nobody actually wants anything that's going on. But you do most certainly can lose yourself when you're feeling in that kind of a way. When you're feeling in that survival mode, something else takes over completely. You can become savage as hell. It all depends on the person. It all depends on the situation, exactly what's taking place at the moment. And unless you were actually there, it's really hard to kind of see what that would have felt like to see Christmas trees go up. At first you would have thought, oh damn, what's going on? It's gotta be a trick. To think that they were actually able to come to some sort of agreement just on right there in the battlefield and break that animalistic urge, that tendency, that nature that happens at war. That's power. That's something else. Something intervened right there. Something happened for sure. Call it what you will. Call it fate. Call it God. Call it something happened. A powerful thing happened because it's very hard once you're in that mindset. Especially these men in these trenches for days on end. Sometimes hungry. Sometimes without very much ammo. Sometimes just going through the worst of the shit. You would most certainly be lost to that. Constantly on edge, constantly thinking about who's going to come rushing over your little hole. Who's going to jump down into the trench with you. So all of this would have been mad confusing when all of that was taking place. But for it to have interrupted the entire craziness that is war, that's crazy to me. That's nuts. It's not something that you would dream could happen, but obviously it did.
The gentle murmur becomes stronger and is picked up by more and more of the soldiers. As Christmas Eve becomes Christmas Day, the British and French join in too. As the morning draws, there's silence. In a farmhouse a short distance away from the front line is 18-year-old Scotsman Alfred Anderson. He vividly recalled that Christmas Day and said, "I remember the silence. the eerie sound of silence. Only the guards were on duty. We all went outside the farm buildings and just stood listening. And of course, thinking of people back home.
That would be the quietest silence you ever heard.
Was the hissing, cracking and whining of bullets in flight, machine gun fire and distant German voices. But there was a dead silence that morning, right across the land as far as you could see. We shouted, "Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas! Merry Christmas!" Even though nobody felt merry.
Powerful stuff, people.
Silence. Oh, I remember the silence on a cold winter day. After many months on the battlefield, and we were used to the violence. Then all the candles went silent, and the snow fell. Voices sang to me from no man's land.
If these men who were literally taking each other's lives could pause for a moment and show some kind of humanity, what the hell is wrong with us who can't even get along with our neighbors? Everyone everywhere is human. We're all the same. We all go through the same things. Sure, we might hate each other sometimes, but there's always time to take a pause and realize that coming together is a little bit happier.
It's a sang to me from no man's land. We are all friends. And today we're all brothers, tonight we're all friends. Our moment of peace in a war that never ends. Today we're all brothers, we drink and unite. Now Christmas has arrived and the snow turns the ground white. Hear carols from the trenches, we sing a holy night. Our guns lay to rest on wood snowflakes. Our Christmas in the trenches, our Christmas on the front, far from home. Madness, how I remember the sadness. We were hiding our tears in a foreign land where we faced our fears. We were soldiers, carried the war on our shoulders for our nations. Is that why we bury our friends? We were all friends. And today we're all brothers, tonight we're all friends. Our moment of peace in a war that never ends. Today we're all brothers, we drink and unite. Now Christmas has arrived and the snow turns the ground white. Hear carols from the trenches, we sing a holy night. Our guns lay to rest on wood snowflakes. Our Christmas in the trenches, our Christmas on the front, far from home.
Brilliant animation, legit.
There were many matches along the lines that day, some with proper footballs, some with bully beef cans, some were disorganised scrambles for the ball. Robert Graves reported that in his match, the Germans won 3-2. The Argyll and Southern Highlanders reported their match ended 4-1 to Scotland. An estimated 100,000 men took part in the Christmas truce. As the men moved back to their trenches, Captain Charles Stockwell took it upon himself to fire 3 shots skyward. He raised a flag upon which was written, "Merry Christmas." His German opposite raised a flag that read, "Thank you." The 2 men then stood on the ramparts and saluted each other. Alfred Anderson, the young Scotsman, survived the war and lived to the age of 109. He said of the end of the truce, "The silence ended in the early afternoon. It was a short peace in a terrible war." But one of the most remarkable quotes comes from a young soldier who, despite being away from his family for the first time, said of the events on that day, "I wouldn't have missed it for the most gorgeous Christmas dinner in England." A Merry Christmas from everyone at Yarn Hub, and the final words go to the members of Sabaton.
Merry Christmas!
There you have it, ladies and gentlemen. Sabaton Christmas Truce animated story video. Yep, definitely a song that'll get you. Especially, I think about this people all the time, honestly. I think about a lot of people that have fallen, people that have gone before me. I've been over there for a long time. I was in myself. Like, it's just, I'm one of those people who sometimes thinks, how come I am here and they are not? But that just means that I need to live my life in a way that would glorify those that went on before me, for sure. It's definitely a hard one to watch because it's beautiful. It shows that everybody's human, that 100,000 plus men were able to stop and take a pause from killing each other for a few moments, only to go right back to what their jobs entailed them to do and kill each other again, essentially. But that brief moment would have been magic. That one man said he wouldn't have missed it for the greatest Christmas dinner in England, and I believe him. Legitimately, what a moment it would have been to be a part of and to have survived. If you guys enjoyed it, go over, show Sabaton some love. I'm glad we had all the extra in this video, all of the extra story and everything. That was very, very beautiful. Hit the like button if you liked it, the dislike button if you disliked it. Check out the other video up there or one of these guys up here. Until the next one, highly combustible. You guys be happy, healthy, safe. I love you to the moon and back. Peace.